She's full of lavender. Can't get a proper read on her mind.
Where's the nearest place we can drop her off at for detox?
HQ. I'll take her since I've got clearance. Girl. Take her to the dungeon and get someone to interrogate her.
Sure. Sir? Oh, there's a blinding spell on you. Of course you can't see the stairs. I'm so sorry. Wait a second. Thanks. No problem. I'm Rose, by the way.
Actually, there's been a bit of a mix-up. I'm not investigating you people.
I see. Shame you ended up here. I could offer cookies to cheer you up. Would you like some? And hot cocoa. No cookies, then?
I'm good. May I... Rose, I have a request.
Of course. What can I do for you? I mean, except for letting you go, if that's what...
Can I talk to Artur?
You want to talk to Artur?
Yes. Do you think that's possible?
Sure, I can get him. That's a new one, though. Are you sure you're okay? And you don't want any cookies while you wait?
No.
All right, I'll send him to you as soon as I can. He's a bit busy right now.
Well, 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 how the tables have turned. Still getting stuck in your head, hmm?
Oh, no. Not as much as I used to, at least. And back then, those monsters weren't helping things.
Well, whatever the case, you should have known better than to snoop around in our affairs. And don't tell me you didn't know who you were investigating.
I know who I was investigating, and it wasn't you. You guys apparently have druids in your backyard and don't even know it.
That's impossible. But you also wouldn't be lying about that.
Thanks for trusting my honesty, I guess.
I trust in my judgment of you, Emma. You wouldn't bet your life on such an easily disprovable lie. You'd be smarter than that.
My findings so far should be proof enough. Even if I'm wrong about the druids, there shouldn't be any doubt that I wasn't sticking my nose into your business. I'm booked into the Heron Hotel. You can figure out the address yourself. Here, have a look and you'll find I've done nothing to get on your bad side.
Don't remember signing up to be your flunky.
You must have flunkies yourself that you can send to gather my things.
Emma, did you really think I was going to feed you to the hounds for no reason?
I'm not sure what to think anymore.
Oh, again, she tries to wound me, pretending we're strangers. I thought we were past this.
I'd appreciate it if you could stop teasing me.
Looks like you're still very much yourself. Come on then. Don't look at me like I'm going to horribly backstab you. I'm taking you out of this cell so you can wait for me and retrieve your research without doubting my intentions. Well, without doubting them too much. The moment you stop doubting something in your life will be the moment you die, Emma. It's really funny in a messed up kind of way.
Thank you.
Ooh, I can feel the distrust radiating off of you. Lighten up. If we've got druids snooping around, I should probably pay you for tipping us off. So, how's life been since we parted? See, that's where you're wrong. Druids are annoying, if anything. Bad choice.
I hope I didn't hold you up.
Just in time. Emma, that's Wyatt. Wyatt, Emma. Watch her until I'm back. She's our prisoner, but be nice to her, okay?
What exactly does be nice mean? Is there some sort of protocol?
Don't worry, you'll get along splendidly. I'll be right back.
Hi.
Hi. I think we're supposed to wait in there.
Yeah, sounds about right. So, why are you our prisoner?
Wrong place, wrong time. Artor is off to clear my name right now. I hope.
Oh, okay. That must be pretty stressful then. And weird. Planets, this must be super weird. Oh, never mind. Bit eccentric. All nonsense. Our tour's a... Says the man wearing a suspicious cloak. How much exactly has Artur told you?
I'm a hunter.
Oh. What's that like, then?
Sort of feudal, I guess. There's a surprising amount of dark magic going on in university study groups. And burning their books before the students are completely lost does feel rewarding. But then I remember that people like you guys exist, you know? And one day, you'll probably go ahead and birth a world-ending monster into our plane, which just fills me with this existential sense of dread combined with overwhelming resignation.
Hardly world-ending. Would be pretty stupid to end the world you're a part of.
But your attempt failed, right?
Our attempt never started. I don't know the details, but... Wait, you don't have clearance for this. So, how do you know our tour? Because this whole thing is highly irregular.
We met last spring. Had the same objective at the time, so we played nice.
I think I know which one. One of the victims is still locked up for observation somewhere around here. I never read the report, though.
I take it you couldn't save any of the townspeople.
Oh, no, we did. Well, not any of the really bad cases, but some had only been, touched a little. The ones we took for research purposes creeped me out, so I never bothered finding out what exactly happened. Also, we don't have a whole lot to do with the cleanup. That's other people's business. Our tour is more of a fire extinguisher. Indeed, that's what we do. Well, I'm more of a support kind of guy. I stay away from the front lines if I can. Mind catching me up on the story while we wait?
Huh? You mean from when Artois and I met?
Sure. Must be quite the tale, right?
I suppose it can't hurt.
I'm here to investigate the occult occurrences in this town. They're a bit too flashy for our tastes. I do love a good deal, especially if it doesn't involve getting a bullet to the head.
You made a deal with a warlock. That's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
One thing's for certain, she's about as insecure as you are, Emma.
I'm not a kid. I am perfection. And my ideal will spread to encompass the whole world, turning it into a utopia.
I brought snacks.
Thanks, Rose. What brings you up here?
I just wanted to properly say hi. I'm so happy our tour made another friend.
I see. Alright. Cursory flip through this thing does point towards the target of your investigation being druidic instead of occult.
All right.
I still need a full overview on this. There's no way there should be druids this close to HQ.
There are pictures taken in this city.
I recognize the market.
There's a gold oriole on that stall. They aren't common within the inner city, much less when the market is in full swing. Also, I took this picture of a tree yesterday. And this is the same tree, this summer, as photographed by the owner. I've never seen a tree decimated by fungal growth like that before. No burn marks, no runes. I'm certain these are druids. That's why I followed these leads. I wanted a case without any weird, eldritch garbage. I knew you guys were based somewhere around here. It's obvious for those paying attention. Still, I wasn't aware I was encroaching on your turf. And once I caught a whiff of those druids, I suppose I got tunnel vision.
That was very reckless. Do you have a death wish?
We aren't killing people for accidentally chasing an unrelated investigation into our territory, right?
We are killing people for way less.
There's no way druids show up here of all places without a very good reason. And they don't accidentally fly under our radar.
I think you're in the clear.
Why does your father never carry his phone on his person? Of course I want you to get him. Yes. Burns, your security fucking sucks. The city is crawling with druids and we needed an honey hunter to tell us they were here. Nab one and find out what they want ASAP. This is ridiculous. They're doing weird tree shit already. I want this contained today. Spider could have been a scout.
It's because Agatha isn't home.
That would strengthen the theory that they might actually be targeting us.
The older accounts of strange happenings were strewn across the entire city, but the newer ones seem to be concentrated around a specific area. They're color-coded. The cooler shades are from several days ago. The witnesses have been hazy on the details, so it's been hard to pinpoint when this exactly started. People have gone missing in this forest. Now, the red ones are from the past 3 days. This wouldn't be roughly where we are, would it?
This is not a good thing for you to know.
Bernd just found 2 of his people dead. Mauled.
no way they know that we know. Their scouts aren't that fast, are they?
No, they are not. They're still mostly regular animals, bound by the laws of physics.
We're shielded from scrying spells. It's highly unlikely that our magical defenses were compromised.
What if you have a mole?
The only person within headquarters that hasn't made a pact with our patron is you.
I'm not a mole.
We know that.
And who's to say that these druids can't make a pact to infiltrate you? Sure, they serve some nature spirit or whatnot, but what physically stops them from catching your attention and making a pact?
That may not be impossible, but it's highly unlikely. I'll keep it in mind. Maybe some idiot actually defected.
What if the mole isn't doing it on purpose? They could be under a mind control spell.
Could be a bug. I mean, well, now that I think about it, it could be the mechanical kind that listens in on you, or...
A tiny little insect that snuck past our security hidden on someone?
Our barriers do let living things through as long as they've made the pact. Or if they're touching someone that has. It would be a hassle to take prisoners in for interrogation otherwise. If that's what happened, it isn't too bad. You don't accidentally take anything bigger than a bug inside. And those can't do much more than spying. Mostly voice. Potentially visuals. It's a nuisance, but it's not impossible to deal with. Several more of Burns' people are missing.
Aside from Thrussell's research subjects, we're the only people currently in HQ, which is where the druidic activity is converging on. If there's a possibility of a mole, do we call for backup or do we lock the whole place down?
No bugs on us, literal or otherwise. But we're not alone. Someone's in HQ who shouldn't be. Rose, lock us down. No one goes in or out. Wyatt, you take Emma to the dungeons. That should be the safest place to hide.
Good luck on your hunt.
Are you sure you don't need backup, Artur?
Do you want to be the next person mauled to death by a wild animal?
No. Emma? Let's go.
Is he going to be fine all by himself?
Probably. Move.
Do you know where my gun went?
Probably banished into oblivion. Wrong door. Of course, we don't have clearance to enter the most well-protected room. But this one... Okay, here we go. Don't touch that. Actually, don't touch anything in this room. These are artifacts that Agatha collected. On top of that, most of these are volatile.
Is there anything in here safe enough for me to use as a weapon?
I don't know what these do. I don't handle artifact hunts. That's someone else's territory. And you'd want something that actually helps you when cornered by a wild animal or a druid. Oh, we don't have to restrict ourselves to stuff that kills your attacker.
Sure, I'm fine trapping them or whatever if it means I get to live.
All right, I think I remember something.
What do those do?
I've heard that they're sort of like the Friends cantrip, if you're fine with a bit of a headache from using them, and... You probably don't know what that means, do you?
Did you just make a 5e reference?
Yes?
Huh. So I can keep random animals from mauling me with these? For a minute?
Well, as long as you can bear the headache that comes from using them. Your victims become sort of placid? The glasses are enchanted, so they draw their own magical energy. You can take them. Don't put them on unless you really need to, though. They're a bit uncomfortable, aren't they?
Nothing I can't handle.
So, you like tabletop RPGs then?
I used to play. It was fun, right up to the moment when my best friend became a literal warlock.
Oh.
Thanks for the glasses.
No problem. I hope Agatha won't mind, as long as we put them back when we're done.
Well, then, thanks for risking Agatha's wrath, just so I can make friends with some more hypothetical wolves.
Just doing my best to keep us alive.
If you guys are keeping dangerous artifacts down here, couldn't this be exactly what the druids are after? Wouldn't that mean we're in incredible danger down here?
If they are after an artifact of ours, then we'd be the last line of defense.
You're quite dedicated to your cult, aren't you?
Of course I am. If it's a single animal, it would be prudent to take it out before it attracts friends.
What if it's not alone?
Then, opening the door to blast at it would be a horrible idea.
And if this is their target destination, we're done for either way.
Well, our tour is hunting them down upstairs, so if they want to steal an artifact, we've got them trapped between us. All we need to do is hold on until he catches up.
Look!
It's taking over the door. Protective spells included.
I don't think the glasses will help against us.
Gonna burn it, but the door will burn as well.
Can't you freeze it to death or something? Anything that doesn't kill our only defense.
The door was compromised. Good job. You may want to take those off if it's too much.
I'm fine.
Should I try conjuring some water? Never mind. I'd need a cup. Can't conjure a cup. Wait here.
Sorry.
What was that for? Lika?
Wyatt.
She's one of Burns' people. I don't know what...
We would like you very much.
Cute, but we have a huge fucking problem. Let's hope Rose has locked down the building. Wyatt, you're with me. I need another pair of eyes up there. Emma, stay here and wait until I pick you up. If you touch an artifact, you're toast.
I'm not... I'm not staying behind in your creepy dungeon.
Your funeral.
If Rose locked the place down, they won't get away.
Which means our priority is to check if Rose is alright. Don't touch... Wyatt, you don't know if it spreads through touch. Yep, this is what magic is for.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. Next time you forget you're a warlock, I'll let you get eaten by a fungus. Use your magic next time you want to do something stupid.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, Wyatt. You distracted it long enough for me to overpower it. tried to take over my nervous system, motor functions, everything. You never realize how feeble of a grip you have on your body until something else comes along to take control.
You good now, Di?
Yep. Although, I'll need a day or so to feel clean again. Also, I never got to lock down the building.
They didn't get to your artifacts, so that's great, right?
What were they after then? Guys?
They took the goat.
No. If the goat's gone, we need to tell Agatha.
We're not calling Agatha.
I'm not calling Agatha. I'm calling Julian.
Don't get technical on me, but
It's still alive. I can feel it. We need to get it back before... I don't know what they'll do. What if that fungus... I won't let them do whatever they...
Rose, calm down. That's a fucking order.
Fine.
Good.
So... why is that goat so important?
It's just important, okay? Imagine if you had a nuke and you stuck it in a goat, okay? That's how important it is.
Did you guys literally stick a nuke into a goat?
Not
It
literally.
was an
We didn't do
accident.
anything.
It's classified. Also, that's not really the point right now. Wyatt, congratulations. Since you already know that the goat is missing, you've been drafted into our rescue mission. Rose, you can track it down, so you're also coming along. I'll leave Nina in charge. Go and grab equipment for a multi-day trip, just in case. We're leaving in 20 minutes. Wyatt, don't let her touch your phone. I'm going to let you go for services rendered. If you start gossiping about it, we're going to have an issue.
Artois. I haven't worked a mission since the one where we met. I haven't done anything since then. My friends think I'm a traitor for what happened to Patrick. I often think I'm a traitor, but that's probably my brain being cruel, the way it likes to be. Anyway, this was the first mission I could bring myself to start, and it felt good. I wanted to help people again. That's why I started hunting in the first place. And if this goat is somehow the equivalent of a nuke, then I don't want these druids to set it off, or whatever. I want to help find the goat.
You and Annie want to come along with a bunch of warlocks and brew with some druids to save our goat.
Don't make fun of me.
We can do magic. You are unarmed, even by Annie's standards.
I do have these cool glasses Wyatt lent me.
Those are probably dangerous.
I'll be careful. I've already distracted 2 wolves with these while Wyatt was fighting a bear. That's gotta count for something. Also, I already know you messed up and had your goat stolen, so I'm free labor without having to own up to your blunder to anyone else.
You can tag along, but if you die, you die. When we first worked together, it was one newbie warlock and a bunch of monsters that could do fuck all to you as long as you were high on lavender. This time you're asking to sit at the grown-ups table. I wash my hands of all responsibility and all that.
So, no food fights at the grown-up table, I assume.
Nope, we're a very serious kill squad. Wait here.
It didn't get banished yet, unlike the rest of your belongings, since it could have contained valuable information.
Thanks.
No problem. Figured you'd want it back. I already saved everyone's numbers in there as well, in case we ever get split up. I've shared your number with everyone else too. Also... yours didn't survive, but you can have this one.
You're a lifesaver. This might sound a bit ignorant, but that whole fungus-eating thing, was that some kind of spell?
Inquisitive as ever. You know why her name's Rose?
Artur!
Because her parents like roses?
Rose bushes were the most unreasonable thing she'd eaten by the time she developed enough of a consciousness to make giving her a name a sensible choice.
Am I late?
Right on time. Do we wait for Nina to show up, or...
It got quite messy.
Where are we even going? That forest where the druids started their activities last week?
Nah, we don't have time to waste on that. Besides, we already lost the goat.
Aye, Captain. And as resident navigator, I call shotgun.
With how secretive you people are, I didn't think your headquarters would be accessible by road.
Oh, it's not. Our tour has special clearance.
Agatha and I spent a lot of time keeping the protections up. Or at least we used to. Getting in by car is a privilege.
This is one of the most secure places in Europe.
The only humans that got in had clearance.
So you were being attacked by a group of your own that were being mind controlled?
It was different from a mind control spell. More biochemical, I'd say. Though definitely magical in nature. I can feel it!
Oh, we'll have to enter the forest, won't we?
Yes, but take us a bit further. I'll tell you when we're closest. All right, park here.
Anyone else feel this sort of oppressiveness?
It's their forest, and it doesn't like us.
It's their domain. Makes me sick.
We won't be allowed to keep walking like this forever. They're bound to intercept us sooner or later. Right now, they probably know we're somewhere in here, but are struggling to properly locate us thanks to the cloaking spells.
We hope.
Did I just hear you doubt my stealth capabilities?
Please, stop teasing me, boss.
I don't know. If he wasn't teasing you, he'd probably start teasing Emma instead. Here, have the universal cure for grumpiness.
And who has access to the cult funds that sponsor your dress shopping sprees?
Yet another amazing reason to keep you well fed and happy. So Emma, was he also grumpy when the two of you ran a mission together?
He was especially grumpy about my muffins.
Muffins? Our tour? How could you?
They had lavender in them.
I still think it's cool that you bake.
I know, right? And our tour was fine. It's not like lavender is poisonous. Also, bringing these was genius.
Yeah, petition to permanently add Rose to our mission roster.
Please?
We'll see. You aren't exactly combat trained.
That didn't stop you from taking me along before. Plus, you are a great teacher, so she'll be fine.
Exactly. It'll be fun.
Right. While we're at it, Emma, care to join the team?
Something's wrong.
Are those...
It's hard to tell with the snow, but I think they...
They were attacked by that fungus.
Uh-oh.
Let's hope that fungus isn't conscious.
Should we get rid of it?
Fire! Now!
Wyatt!
I...
This should have eradicated that issue. I wanted to be sure that there's no trace of that garbage left.
I could have killed us with that!
Maimed, maybe. Nothing Thrussell couldn't fix. And I mean, that's assuming I didn't manage to shield us in time, which is ridiculous, considering I gave the order for it in the first place.
Guys? It got hit by the spores, didn't it? Emma?
Aww.
What the fuck?
It was necessary.
Yeah, but we could have handled it. Occult artifacts are no toys.
I could have caught it with restraining magic.
From what I've heard, people usually experience headaches while wearing those, not after.
I don't have a headache. I just don't like the way it feels after I've worn them.
I'm not going to take your only weapon, but be careful with those. Don't use them unless you have to. Once we're a good ways off, we set up heavy cloaking and prepare for the night. I want to make sure we lose them before we approach their location again. This time, from a different direction.
Sorry. He's been a bit grumpy recently. Agatha has taken in a second student, so now he's throwing himself into his work. All for something like this to happen.
I can hear you.
I'm just letting Emma know that it isn't her fault that the mood is all messed up.
I think that fungus did a good job at messing up the mood all on its own.
Wyatt, scout the perimeter. Rose, set up warning wards with a 200-meter radius. I'll handle the cloaking.
I'm no good at magic, but I can help Wyatt keep an eye out.
Right, sure.
I hope I'm not too much of a burden.
No, no worries. 2 pairs of eyes are better than 1.
Good.
Yeah. I meant that. No need to worry. You're helping us when you really don't have to. I may not have been in the business for too long, but even I know that hunters are usually much more, angry, gun-waving lunatics.
Why, thanks, Wyatt.
No, really. You even found out about these druids before our security did. That's pretty cool.
Not that it made a difference.
Who knows? If you hadn't tipped us off, maybe we couldn't have reacted as quickly.
Guess we'll never know. So, you're good with Sewulo then?
And you're good with occult knowledge, apparently.
As I said, a friend of mine turned to the dark arts.
But yeah, Sewulo was the first rune I mastered. Took me a while to figure out what I was good at, but Artur was pretty good at scaring it out of me. It's a bit of a story, but I guess we don't have much else to do, considering all these trees look the same. So, when I was sent on my first mission, I hadn't mastered a single rune yet. I guess I should have said something, or maybe put more work into figuring things out. Anyway, when Artur and Nina found out, Nina is his second in command. I don't think you've met her yet. She's a lot like Artur in some ways. They figured I was no good in a practical fight, so they decided to lock me up in a room in our safe house to meditate until I mastered a rune that would get me out of there. I didn't know them too well back then. I heard a rumor here or there about Artur, of course, and I had quickly figured out that Nina was as much into the thrill of the hunt as him. But Artur had been good to me, so at first I was sure they'd let me out soon enough. I figured they wanted to give me a bit of a scare for motivation. Not Not that I wasn't motivated, but I had only just joined weeks before, and, well, magic is hard. Anyway, turns out they meant it. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't have let me die in there. And I figured I might as well use the time for what they wanted me to do, but after they let me stew for a day without another word, any water or food, I began seriously focusing. I guess it's the panic that gave me the push I need. Stay back!
Wyatt! There's a rune on the tree! Focus that!
We need to get you dry. Hypothermia and all that. What do you need?
Setup. It's... so much better. Thanks. Mind checking the rest of the perimeter? Shouldn't be much left.
Sure.
I'll get Artur to check if that tree is somehow able to communicate our location. It doesn't have any fungus on it, so it may just be some brainless security system. If anything jumps at you, run. I'll send Artur if you don't return on time.
Yeah, okay.
There you are. Forest so pretty you decided to stare at it forever?
No, just getting lost, being me.
I see. I'd offer you a beer to lighten up, but my idiot flunkies didn't bring any.
I doubt getting wasted in this forest would be a wise decision.
Nah, with the wards I set up, nothing is getting us. Best they can do is surround us and wait for us to come out. Don't worry, we also have Rose's warning wards. I'm not stupid enough to count on one single line of defense, no matter how immaculate.
I take it that tree won't be an issue if we're not moving camp again.
Nope, it had no sentience. There was enough programming to attack intruding humans, but not perform telepathy. Rose, did everything go alright?
Yes. I ran into an infected deer, but I neutralized it without leaking any information. That's also why I was so late. I had to return to camp to refuel before I could finish my warding.
Good. What Wyatt found was an enchanted tree that attacks humans on sight, so nothing to worry about. Cooking went as planned as well.
I can't believe we'll get a good night's rest. You doing all right, Emma?
Yeah, it's all just a bit weird. The only warlock besides Artois I ever had a cordial discussion with was my friend, who got me into hunting in the first place.
Why would they get you into hunting if they're a warlock?
We were studying the occult together, for fun. At first, we were reading that stuff for cheap thrills, but then we found multiple matching descriptions of rituals from completely unrelated sources. The same runes and rune constellations kept popping up in books from different civilizations, so I started to wonder. We ended up developing an understanding of what's real and what isn't, and from there, it didn't take long for Marie to stumble across something that wasn't just theoretical information. The Greeks called the thing that Marie ended up binding herself to acedia, what history remembers as a concept similar to depression, also fed an eldritch entity. And acedia thrives in modern society, especially since it's difficult to tell apart those with natural symptoms from those affected by the eldritch. Marie drove lethargy through our university like a wildfire, selling enchanted potions like cheap drugs. That's when one of your guys noticed her. Back then, I was still under the illusion that I could somehow revert Marie's decision, that I could make her realize how bad it had gotten and to undo her pact. So, when a warlock in a black cloak with Naughties and Jera on the back showed up, I was with her.
Your memory should have been wiped at the least.
He killed Marie, no questions asked. But when he turned to blast me, he hesitated. Maybe he could feel that I hadn't made a pact. When he pulled out Evergreen instead, I knew that I was about to get wiped. So I told him not to bother. I had studied this for years, and he may as well kill me and get it over with, or he'd leave a broken shell behind with the amount of memories he'd have to take.
And he just left? That's a steaming pile of traitorous ignorance of protocol if I've ever seen one.
I didn't turn to hunting because my best friend was murdered by a warlock. I did it because I didn't want anyone else to lose friends or family to a manipulative monster from outside our world. By the time your guy came, I'd already lost her. Sorry for killing the mood.
Oh, you didn't kill the mood. I'm glad you told us, and I bet tidying up your thoughts did you some good as well.
I agree. You don't want to keep that stuff bottled up.
Pretty bold of you to stand up to an enemy warlock like that, too.
I wonder who that was.
Our tour, they spared Emma.
And now she's a walking security concern. Still, as much as I hate to be that guy, we have a difficult day ahead of us tomorrow. So, everyone needs to catch some shut-eye as soon as possible.
I call dibs on the one closer to the food stash.
I'll share the other tent with Wyatt. He's closest to normal, so I can pretend that I'm not on a camping trip with a bunch of evil warlocks.
You think Wyatt is normal?
It's a wise choice regardless. Rose snores.
I do not.
Sure you do, but don't worry. Your snoring is adorable and easily fixed by a silencing spell.
Aww, why has no one told me?
Nina thinks it's cute whenever you pass out on the couch in my office, so usually we just leave you be.
I'll eat her alive. And you too, Artur. You should have told me.
Better get inside before they drag you into their bickering.
This is cozier than I would have thought.
Yeah, magic is pretty amazing.
Earlier, you said you haven't been in the business for too long. What was that about?
Huh? Oh. I guess it doesn't really matter if I tell you. I've only made my pact a couple of years ago.
What made you want to join a cult?
That wasn't exactly my decision to make. It's not like they hand out magical powers to just anyone. I mean, I wouldn't have declined such an offer, but I was really only invited because of my parents.
How is that different from everyone else?
Huh?
I mean, the ones born into the cult only get to join because their parents are cultists as well, right?
I guess so. Still, my parents got invited because they own a massive shipping business. Meanwhile, everybody else's ancestors have been serving the cult for generations, passing down their knowledge and prestige.
Passing down prestige is absolute nonsense. But I do know someone who was raised by another hunter, and she's quite good at her job. So maybe you're onto something here. But most of us are first generation as well. It's not like we usually live long enough to produce offspring.
I guess there's no discrimination towards those who joined late from those born into it with you guys then, huh?
Nah, if anything, people are mostly competing about who stops the most cults from forming.
Sounds nice.
It was alright.
But so is this. It may be difficult to believe, but I'm fine in my squad. And I finally have a chance to prove my own worth. My parents' money doesn't make me a better warlock, and I can't rely on their prestige either. Artur has given me a chance to make a name for myself, so I don't mind going on a couple of dangerous missions in return.
I think I understand. Marie? Katrine? Sabine? Klaus? Patchwork?
Emma? Emma?
Wyatt?
Finally. You were whimpering in your sleep, and I couldn't wake you up.
I'm sorry I woke you.
Don't say that when you just had a nightmare. Is there anything I can do?
I don't think so. It was a nightmare, so I guess I'll have to hope that doesn't happen again, right?
If you say so. Do you want me to stay awake until you're back asleep? To make sure nothing happens?
You also need your sleep. I'll be fine.
Alright. But if this happens again, I'll hold watch.
We'll see.
Rise and shine.
Good morning. I hope you found some sleep after that nightmare.
War sounds far too chipper for how early it feels.
It takes some getting used to, but once you lose your first bed to his impatience, you adjust pretty quickly. Looks like we'll have a harder time getting anywhere today. I haven't seen a snowstorm this bad since coming to Germany.
I've only heard stories from my father.
I think it's beautiful.
Do you really think this was caused by the druids?
Likely. They obviously can't control the weather everywhere, but this entire forest is theirs. It's changed since they've arrived, and at this point it is more magical than natural. Take everything you see in here with a grain of salt.
Maybe they're getting frustrated that they can't find us and are trying to make our lives difficult any way they can.
Well, whatever the case, we're not letting that stop us. Everyone, pack the bags so we can leave. Now that we're outside our wards again, chances are that they'll eventually find us. That doesn't have to be a bad thing, as it may allow us to take out enemy forces bit by bit instead of having to deal with them all at once.
Could one of you guys provide me with a heating spell?
Most hunters I've run into would rather die than ask for comfort through magic.
That's my thing. Hold on.
Much better. Thanks. Artois? Hello?
Emma. Emma. We've been looking for you. Aren't you going to say hello? Aw, so shy.
Stay away from me!
But we want to know you. We're intrigued. We dreamed of you from 100 brains, Emma. There we go. Oh, this is what we want, Emma. Ever since you had us panting at you in blind exhilaration. Before that brute annihilated us. So rude. We'll rip him apart for that. Our claws are sharp, and we have, oh, so many. Not this time. Your little toy won't be working on us anymore, Emma. And once we subdue our new prize, we'll be a literal god. Nature will rule itself again. You could be a part of that. We'll be unstoppable.
Run!
Emma! Where's the enemy?
I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. I got lost, and suddenly there was this woman, a druid, probably. And she acted all weird, and my glasses didn't work. And then she tried to touch me, and I don't know why, but she just froze and told me to run.
Okay, take a deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Then slowly breathe out again. Slow down. We're fighting heavy interference on the magical side, and technology isn't holding up much better. Probably because we're close to the center of operations.
How are we going to find the others again?
We agreed where to meet up before splitting up to look for you. Don't give me that look. We weren't about to leave you behind. Now, let's get back to the meeting spot. I swear, I'll make everyone hold hands like we're in kindergarten if this happens again.
How did you find me?
Something reached out to me. I assume I don't have to tell you that they're getting stronger.
No.
Be careful. I don't want to be forced to watch over two people constantly trying to blow themselves up.
Two?
For someone who claims to hate fighting, Wyatt is far too eager to throw himself into the front lines with no regard for his own life. And I have a feeling that someone is using an occult artifact in a similarly reckless fashion.
Sorry.
I know you're not technically part of my squad, but you will get a stern talking to if you do something suicidal.
Thanks for looking out for me.
This is where we wait. I'd already been looking for you for a while when you reached out to me. Are you holding up all right?
No, but I can make it.
Alright. Make sure to let me know if that changes. I'd rather get a heads up before you lose control.
Oh, hi. Glad you're back.
Me too.
Hey! Whoever found her, you're amazing.
No news there. Alright, we need to get going. Agatha is set to return home this afternoon, so we still have time to make sure she doesn't find out just how bad of a shit show this was.
Stop.
How much further?
About 100 meters.
Then they probably know we're here. While I'd love to draw up a huge strategic master plan, there are only 4 of us. So let's keep this simple. Wyatt and I will be on the offensive. Rose, I want you to hold down as many enemies as you can. We're not here to take prisoners, so everyone needs to shoot to kill. Emma, you can still stay behind.
No, I can use the glasses one more time. Even if the fungus is immune, maybe there are regular druids around. Or maybe fighting off the charm effect will distract it enough to make your job easier.
Alright. Remember, no one is going to hold it against you that you're borrowing powers from the eldritch to further your own goals. Druids are savage and we're in their territory. Nature is on their side. That means Wyatt will be tasked with destroying as much of the surroundings as possible. I don't care if the entire forest burns to the ground. When it comes down to it, every tree is an enemy. This isn't their local home. We would have known if these druids had lived here for generations. So this is a temporary setup for them, and they aren't as intertwined with the local flora as they could be. Any questions? Alright, full-on frontal assault. Let's go.
Behind us!
Watch out!
Leave, and I'll send him home unharmed.
Very funny.
No can do, Moldface. Can't let Agatha down like that. Plus, she'd have all our heads anyway.
Wait! I want to propose a deal! You want me, right?
Yes, dear. In fact, how about I'll have you both? The boy is quite pretty as well.
What the hell, you guys? Both of you. You're both getting locked in a cell until you learn not to stupidly endanger yourselves.
Beautiful. No more fighting, love.
Nice distraction, Emma.
Killing that one druid won't stop the fungus from taking over Emma.
What are you going to do? Kill her next? What the?
I got her. It won't come off. Artur?
There's far more than there was on Wyatt and you.
I can try burning it off, but I don't think I'm good enough at controlling the fire.
We don't have a healer with us, so we'd have to rush her back to headquarters.
Tor, you're bleeding.
I'll be fine. And we still need to get that goat.
How long can you keep that fungus in check? Whatever the druids did to the forest, I still can't teleport to take her to a medic.
It's not easy.
Okay. Emma, if you can hear me, I'm going to get rid of as much of the fungus as I can in a moment. It'll probably burn you a little, but we can heal you as soon as we get back to civilization, alright? Here goes nothing.
Wyatt, I think she's up.
Emma?
I can feel my limbs.
That's great. Emma, I don't know how much you remember, but you're currently in our medical ward.
You saved me.
I burnt a lot of your skin. It could take weeks until we can return it to normal.
Then you better find some good way to entertain me while I'm stuck here.
Aw, look at that, Wyatt. You're a true hero.
Don't be silly.
Fine. No more comments. I'll go keep our tour company. He's still limping, but he's dead set on running about.
And all that after his endless lecture about recklessly throwing yourself at a body-snatching fungus. You can look forward to that one too, Emma.
Hello?
Hey, Wyatt here. I hope you're readjusting well to normal life in the Unny world.
I'm doing all right, although I miss those nifty healing spells. And the food. You spoiled me.
Yeah, about that. I was wondering if you wanted to come by sometime? I could cook. We could watch some super inaccurate movie about magic or something.
All right,